The coming field of awakening is for you to be awakening to the sacred love. It would be a very unique journey into costless love consciousness and awakening through 3 timeless experiences of the sacred. Costless love literally is an experience of love that simply arises from within you. It flowers towards everyone, a stranger, a family member, a homeless person, a mountain, a tree, an animal. It just flowers. It doesn't distinguish as this is mine and this is not mine. The sacred love is costless. Love can arise anywhere, on the street, in the mountains, in the hills, by the ocean, in a conversation, in a prayer, or in a dance. This costless love simply flowers unprovoked. It arises without any effort. Through this portal of costless love, you enter God consciousness. You will see the universal intelligence as an all-encompassing field of consciousness. You will see that all that exists is sacred. You will see the universal intelligence as your personal divine. These 3 dimensions open to you when there is activation of the heart sensory neurons and a corresponding activation in certain regions of the brain. These are massive dimensions of consciousness that would get awakened in you during the field of awakening.
Hey everyone, my name is Alina. I am here at the amazing, beautiful Upaya Retreat Center, and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the Get Your Shit Together retreat. I'm so lucky and grateful to have been able to go to the last one last month in January. It's only been 3 weeks and I have already seen immense change. My parents tell me almost every day how much I've changed for the better. I am manifesting my dream life. I'm becoming the person who I've always wanted to be but always been too scared to or put excuses. It's amazing, to say the least. It is amazing. It is the one thing that if I could share with everyone, I would share this. It's hosted by the amazing Amy Joy. She is my beautiful friend and mentor, and I am so immensely grateful for her, for teaching me all of this, for giving me all the tools, the new tools in my toolbox. It is all about oneness and growth, personal growth, spiritual growth, and about manifesting the life that you want, becoming the person you want to be. So yeah, this is something that is interesting to you. It is here at Upaya. There's amazing food. 7 people who were complete strangers and turned them into a family who adores each other in 6 days. Amazing. I talk to those people every day. I have so much love for them because we grew together and we learned together. So if this is something that you would like to do, if this is something that's calling you, please go. It will change your life. I know it has changed mine, and everyone who came has changed forever.
Are you ready to get your shit together? Isn't that what we are all truly trying to do? In this fun, life hack-full show, we will learn together how to navigate this roller coaster called life. We, as glorious messy humans, can sit in the proverbial third car, grumpy and bored, or in the front of the roller coaster having the time of our lives. What do you choose? In this show, you can expect meaningful content and practical takeaway tools to make life easier and exceptionally more joyful. There will be epic guests who already love their lives, allowing them to share their get your shit together tips and words of wisdom. Life is too long and too short to not love your life. Welcome to Get Your Shit Together Live with Amy Joy. Hello and welcome to Get Your Shit Together Live with Amy Joy, and I'm your host, Amy Joy. Happy Thursday and congratulations on your abundance. I want you to take a look around right now and notice, like really, really notice how abundant you really are. I am feeling very abundant today. The sun is shining. My lungs can breathe air. I don't have to tell my lungs to breathe in and out. My heart's beating 100,000 times and I don't have to ask it to. I don't have to pay attention to that. Isn't that nice? We're so abundant. There's a program out there that wants us to believe otherwise, but it's not true. So take a look around right now and notice. Just really notice and smile. I am also very abundant to have the amazing Brian Richards with us today. He is the founder and CEO of an epic invention called SaunaSpace. I actually own this and use it on a regular basis. I'm very excited to bring it to you. And as you know, I only bring things to you that I use and know and trust, and that it's been vetted. And so I'm very excited to share. We're going to talk about how we are beings of light and the importance of the light that we have in and around us on a daily basis. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned to the end for mantra magic and meditation moment. And then, of course, at the very end, we're going to learn about Brian's nugget, his nugget of truth that he would share with the world. So thank you. Thank you for spending your very precious time with us today. I love you dearly. All right, it is now time to change your state, elevate. All right, as you know, this is the part of the show. It just takes 2 minutes where we're going to change our state. We're going to change our vibration or our frequency from wherever it is to even higher so that we can feel even better. So today I want to share something that I learned from Donna Eden. She is a energy master, and she calls it the 4 thumps. And we have meridians, right? Meridian lines that go through our body. And these thumping that I'm going to teach you, and it's really easy, helps activate those meridians and gets your energy flowing in the way that it should. So as you remember, last week we talked about crossing over, right? We get our energy crossing over so that we're not homolateral anymore. And this helps us a lot. Today, we're going to do the 4 thumps. So I want you to go like this on your cheeks. Just tap, tap, tap. And then down to your, right here, right just below your collarbone. Yeah, right there. And then we're going to thump our thymus. That's right here. And what this does is it helps flush your lymph. And if we don't do this, our lymph doesn't actually flush on its own. We have to bounce or thump. So this is very, very important. And then you're going to go down to your rib cage, just down right underneath, right straight down here, and then to your sides. I'm going to stand up here so you can see right here. So here, I add a 5th one, I guess, technically. So the first one is here. Second is right here under your collarbones. Third is your thymus. And then the 4th is right here. And then I move around to the side. If it gets a little tender, it's because you need it. Okay. And so that's going to help drain your lymph. And I want you to pay attention now. How do you feel? Do you feel just a little bit more centered? Just a little, that feels good. I do. I can feel it. These little 2 millimeter changes your life. So, all right, it is now time to get our shit together. All right, super excited to have Brian Richards on the show. Brian is an internationally known expert in sauna therapy, light science, EMF science. And in 2008, Brian transformed his health by creating his own incandescent electric light bath. In 2013, he founded SaunaSpace. His company, based in Missouri, USA, handcrafts innovative saunas and targeted therapy devices that harness nature's most potent spectrum for light and heat therapy. Thousands of customers have now transformed their lives, I'm one of them, with the SaunaSpace experience. Nowadays, Brian brings a refreshing approach to natural living spiritual science, and natural health transformation. We're all about transformation here on Get Your Shit Together. Put your hands together for the amazing Brian Richards. Woo!
Thank you so much, Amy.
Welcome to the
Wow.
show. Welcome to the show.
I love the introduction.
Excited. I've been wanting you on here for so long, Brian, and I'm so glad it's working out. So, fun story. I was in the biohacking conference in Florida, David Osprey's biohacking conference, and I saw SaunaSpace there, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is the best thing because it's portable. It wraps up in a box. And I live in Mexico, and so to be able to get something to Mexico is like an act of God. And so right then and there, I bought the show model. I was like, had to have it. And I saw Brian at a distance, but didn't meet him technically until we were in Egypt sitting around a table. And I hear him talking about his company. And I'm like, wait a second, I have one of those. And we made the connection. So Brian, thank you for being on the show. Tell us a little more about yourself other than what the bio said. What would you like to share with the audience just out the gate?
Yeah, I'm blessed and grateful to be someone who's found something they love that that I can do at this thing we call work. It's not really work. It's just an extension of me, right? I'm here at this other place and I'm doing these things, but I'm grateful to have found this. You know, at the beginning with my healing story, I had these adrenal fatigue problems that came up and insomnia and other things. And I was fixing up rental houses at the time. And what I loved about it was fixing and making things beautiful, like building beautiful things and creating beautiful things with my hands. The rest of it was not very enjoyable. Like the people aspect of it, I would have loved to enjoy it, but I just didn't have the sort of the constitution, the emotional constitution for that type of relationship. So it's no coincidence that this came up. This is the solution to my own health issues. So that's why I'm here, is because I was initially just looking for my own solution, for myself, my own issues. And then I was inspired by how quickly I recovered. And I didn't really know at that time, like how amazing it is. I thought, well, this is a thing that works for me. There's a lot of health tech out there, different things for different people, but this worked for me. Yeah. But I basically I started to make a couple of them basically on the side as this like side gig. And then I got a call from one of the early customers, like the first 10 customers, a few months after she received her fugly little sauna. It was a very, very simple bricolage thing at that point. I was making it in like the back of my house, and it had like plumbing pipe, it was really funny looking. And she called me up and she was crying, and then she made me tear up while she talked to me about and described how her life, how she transformed her health with the sauna that I made for her. And she had lost her job, and her relationships were stressed out, and her family situation was stressed out, and resolving her health, finding this unlimited healing she has inside and unlocking it kind of with the light therapy and the heat therapy. It just transformed everything for her. Yeah. And I was like, how could that be so simple? And so that was like, whoa, this is so amazing. And I basically dropped my tools at my rental house, and I never completed it. And I eventually sold it unfinished, and I dropped my tools and I started diving into this, and got a doctor's endorsement and made my own logo. And it's been a slow bake. That's been a decade. So here I am a decade later. I have a cool factory now where everything's handmade here in Missouri. You can see it behind me, kind of. Everybody's.
Oh, that's so cool. We get to see it.
It's right here. It's real.
Yeah.
It's not a black box. It's all. So it's a beautiful production facility, and I've been. In the beginning, I was obsessing about it and just pouring all of my blood, sweat, and tears into it. And now I'm more just calm and collected about it. I'm a little more poised, maybe I dare say, about it, but no less passionate about it. It's super fun what I do now. Yeah, like you said, we have thousands of customers, and the sauna the sauna market's crowded. You know, there's like a lot of different saunas you could buy, and it was when I started doing mine. And yet, look at the success, you know, that we have, that SaunaSpace has. So there's something different about the experience in our sauna that makes it more inviting, not just like more effective and more quick. You know, the sauna. There's something about the light, and so I didn't realize in the beginning what I had and what I was doing, but I slowly over time realized that there's, if you want to go into it, like in biohacking, there's still a very like masculine prerogative and a masculine culture where people are being told, do this, do that. In order to get ABC benefits, you need to do X, Y, and Z. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. There's a do thing. It becomes very transactional in that way. It's very much like allopathic approaches or just conventional whatever approaches in the culture, kind of in the language. When what I loved about your introduction and what you're all about is that it's not about doing, it's about being. It's about being in the joy that we are, and not just being loving to other people, but remembering that we are love. And there's not really a whole lot to do. The human body is a perfect universe that takes care of itself, repairs itself constantly. It just needs to get some very simple things from nature.
Yeah.
In medicine overall, but especially in biohacking too, I think there's a little bit of a failure in overcomplicating things. You know, like I think natural medicine is definitely a more effective approach overall, but still, like, we're trying to have so many devices, so many supplements, and so many things on the schedule, all the things that we need to do for our health, when these basic things that our ancestors did every day. And I'll save like my favorite biohack for the end, because I know it's a question you want to ask at the end. But there's the science is really complicated, right? It's all like physics and biology, but the practical solutions are really simple, and everybody can understand them. Nobody needs a degree to do that, and everybody can implement them. And many of the solutions, some of the most powerful solutions, are totally free. They're what we have, you know, every day, like taking a walk and doing some grounding and getting some sunshine and doing breath work and spending time quietly, you know, in meditation, and taking back our, you know, our control over like what we're eating and where it's coming from.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned being, and meditation and grounding, because that's what I do in your sauna. I meditate while I'm in there, and it's a grounding pad. So I'm also grounding, and then I'm also getting the light. So it's a 3-for-1. I'm sure there's more benefits if I wanted to really
There's
look
more.
but
it's a big stack. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know it. And I saw you on an amazing podcast with Josh. His name is
Josh Trent.
Yes, with Josh Trent.
Yeah.
So good.
The new one?
So good. I
it was cool.
The whole thing, Brian.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, every minute of the 2 hours, like I just was eating it up. And yeah, and I love how you just really talk about the being and the spiritual side of things, because we are 3D, we are 5D, we're all of it, and the being of light. So I know, yes, we can talk about health things, but why light? Why do we need sauna at the level that we need sauna? I think that would be good to talk about. Just
well, like, what does that mean? Yeah, what does that mean, being a being of light? That's like seems like you know, maybe nebulous. So light is one of the fundamental languages of the universe. So when we say we're beings of light, we're literally made of light. We're taking light from the sun, and we're converting it from photons into electrons in the body and doing things. Our DNA emits light. Everybody has an auric field. So an aura. So literally, and you can see this on fancy cameras now, like people emit light, and you can some people can see this more clearly than others, but we're all emitting light and creating light That's because we are light. And yeah, it's certainly sound is one of the other fundamental languages of the universe, but light and sound go together, in so many ways. We are more this than anything else. And the difference between light and matter is really just a question of frequency. Things that vibrate really fast are lighter and less dense. And so you have we have we're here on this physical plane. We have things that we can see and we can confirm with our senses are physical in nature, and we can use our basic 5 senses for that. But we have other senses too. In some cultures, it's referred to as the third eye. In the Western culture, it's like the pineal gland. It's an antenna. It's what some people might call the sixth sense. We can perceive information that's not just coming from our 5 senses. So what are we perceiving? How is this information packaged? Probably fundamentally a lot of it is light. Light in different frequencies and different modulations. So at all levels of our biology, light is used for really, really important functions. We're taking light from the sun, what we do with SaunaSpace with near-infrared light, and we're eating it, and it's creating energy in our body and activating all these cool healing systems. There are aspects of the cell, like the mitochondria, communicates with the nucleus with near-infrared light wavelengths.
Yep.
There's all this different, and the more we see this with modern observation, the more we confirm, like, wow, we don't really understand a whole lot about what's going on, but it's not really fundamentally biochemical. It's electromagnetic. Everything is all about light and electricity, and these are quantum things that are kind of, in some ways, like hard to understand if you're using your left brain. But when we see we see a loved one and we get that warm feeling inside, we understand the absolute. We understand what unlimited is. And that's kind of this, like, how we're so unique as humans is our design has a baked in polarity. It's not just masculine and feminine. It's also like left brain and right brain, individuality and unity. Yeah. And when we're in our flow state, we're using both. The mind is not meant to work against us. Often it does, and I was certainly the case with me in my healing. Is too much in the mind, but the mind is a very powerful tool to synthesize, like, our sensory data and our data bank that we have in our DNA, all of our information, and our higher selves, in the creator, like, all together. So we're designed to be in this. It's almost a contradiction. We're in the unity and the individuality at the same time, and there actually is no contradiction, because we have this divine programming, this divine design that allows us to do both. If we understand, we're supposed to be doing both, kind of and then sometimes we emphasize one or the other. So it's okay to do things, but our natural state, our more powerful side is, our right brain, our divinity, where we're unlimited. And that's why, like, humans are supposed to be in what's called a parasympathetic nervous state most of the time. So nervous system is supposed to be relaxed most of the time. So we're open, we're connected with everything. But sometimes we're supposed to go into this, like, heightened, state, and to accomplish things, to do things, to bring things out of the, the cosmic consciousness and manifest on this world for the sake of, serving others and improving the world and creating beautiful things.
Absolutely. And Brian, I want to honor you in your growth in harnessing and merging those divine masculine and divine feminine, because in all the interactions that we've had along the way in Egypt and then Ecuador, and
wow, that's right, we were in Ecuador together too.
Spent some time, and you are a wonderful example of harmony. And I like to stay away from the word balance, because it's hard to, what does that mean exactly, right? But the harmony of both, and just a very steady Eddie. Yeah, I just adore you. I just think you're such an amazing human, and I love your gift for the sciences and the mind, and yet there's this other spiritual, flowy side of you. So you're living the walk and the talk.
Thank you, Amy. You too.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the light that we're mostly in the world, and how hard it is on our bodies, actually, in comparison to the light that you've created.
Yeah, most of our modern light is LED or fluorescent.
Yeah.
And what that is blue light. So blue light is not quite ionizing radiation like ultraviolet light, so it doesn't like directly damage our DNA and cause mutation, but it causes stress basically on the body. And in nature, we only got blue light from the sun. And when we look at the sun spectrum, we get a little bit of blue light and ultraviolet, and we get a much larger dose of near infrared of the as a percentage of the sun spectrum. And then also because near infrared is really unique, it penetrates much deeper into the body than red light or blue light or any other wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the wattage we absorb from the sun, over 70% is near infrared. So from the sun, we get a little bit of blue, but over 70% is near infrared. And the near infrared reverses that oxidative stress. It reverses any kind of damage that the ultraviolet and the blue light's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But when we go indoors and we're under the LED light, we don't have any more near infrared from the sun. If you don't have one of my products anyway in your room, you are only getting blue light. So blue light causes a lot of health issues nowadays because it's something people are used to. It's just there. People are not maybe thinking about it. But as we started with this, we're beings of light. So we're definitely influenced by light for better and for worse. Blue light stresses us out. It keeps us up. It leads to weight gain. It causes neuropsychiatric problems in people. It disrupts our sleep, especially when we get blue light after sunset, which everybody's doing with television and computer and phones.
Yeah.
And of course, sleep is so important. So when our sleep's disrupted, we're really restricted basically in our health from there on out for the next day. I mean, it has so many other things. We could go on for a while. Like it lowers male testosterone. So it seems like a growing problem with not having enough, with young men not having normal testosterone levels. Like I'm talking under 30 years old. And it's absolutely, it's definitely is related to the feminizing chemicals that people are consuming. But there's this huge component that's actually blue light that, when we go to work, once we're 18, we go to work, we have screens around us all day long. The light above us is all blue light. And we're getting more of that than the sun. I mentioned that in Josh Trent's podcast. The average American gets like 7 minutes of sunshine a day, or barely even that.
Basically just getting in and out of the car, right? Or out of the store.
Yeah. So it's this kind of like silent spring kind of thing. It's this sort of pernicious, stressful thing that is hard to avoid, that damages our health because we're so influenced by light. On top of that, the lighting indoors is usually, like I said, LED or fluorescent. These light sources flicker a lot, particularly LEDs flicker very powerfully and turning on and off completely, like 120 times a second. And that's like a strobe light. It is a strobe light. And that's also part of why the modern lighting stresses us. Like if you ever go to the hospital or you go to like some kind of office and they have all that really harsh blue light. It's like, especially for someone who's sensitive, who's aware of themselves, it's very noticeable. So yeah, it's really gotten us down. And you can still get incandescent bulbs of low wattage and use those in your home and have like more sockets and more fixtures and utilize that. But what's cool with what we do is the spectrum and the design of our bulb, of our firelight bulb, has this really unique cancellation effect that I actually didn't even know in the beginning. It's just something that I discovered with this guy named Brian Hoyer. He's a building biologist. He has a company called Shielded Healing, and he does in-home EMF like mitigation consultation. And we were playing around with it, and he was like, with the spectrometer, and he's like, dude, it lowers the amount of blue light that we can measure. And we tested a lot more, and it turns out that there's something about the near infrared light and the non-flickering aspect of the light that we make, that's either in our portable lights or the sauna. It's the same technology.
Oh, can you bring it out and show them a little?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is the light.
Yeah, this is the glow light. So we rebranded, Amy.
Yes, congrats on that.
We call this the glow. So it's part of our rebrand. Super cute. I love the new name. You basically have this next to you. It doesn't even have to point at you. If you can see, it's not pointing at me. It's just kind of like up. It's canceling out almost all of the measurable blue light from the overhead lighting and the screen, and also the flickering light effects. So the human body, and you can measure this with the spectrometer, the human body doesn't perceive this toxic blue light. And that makes that basically helps you with what we call technology fatigue or screen fatigue. So, and that doesn't just apply to the workspace, like anywhere, indoors, in your living room, anywhere indoors, we're bringing the light of nature, which is mostly near infrared from the sun, indoors. And we're doing so without introducing any more blue light or ultraviolet light, because we're already getting like way too much of that. Right. Certainly indoors. And so it's an amazing way to have clean light after dark, and just have any light you want in your house. That's light that's mimics the light of the sun without the ultraviolet and the blue. So it's the type of lighting that we're programmed to get. It's when we look at the sun, we call that full spectrum light. So it's all of these wavelengths, from ultraviolet light all the way into the long wavelength infrared, called far infrared. But it's not just that it's all the wavelengths. There's a power distribution. Each wavelength has a little bit different power to it, and it's a full complement of that, from which we get an entourage effect, like you get from eating whole foods. When we parcel out a portion of that light, whether it's in home LED for reading and for lighting, or it's like an LED red light panel, we lose that synergy, of the natural form. And we're really powerful beings. We're beings of light. So we beings of light, we notice this, and you can feel it. You can feel the difference. So there's a difference in the feeling of the light therapy that our products offer.
It's true.
That it's really unique, in the sauna experience as well. It's really just this unique experience of kind of returning to nature, returning to self. That it's all about mimicking like this perfection we already have in nature, and that's our bodies are like, oh wow, I love this. This feels great.
Well, for me, it's like, I grew up in Canada, right? So it's cold as heck and hardly any snow. And we would live for the moment we would get to the beach and be able to just really be in the sun. And I get that same feeling every time I get into the sauna. And I loved what you said on Josh Trent's podcast, because you said this, you just feel healthy. You just feel whole. And it's true. You totally have that feeling in the sauna. And I didn't realize that until you said it. And when you said it, I was like, yes, yeah. That is what happens. That's what makes me go. Because I'm not typically one to like to sweat, unless I'm playing hockey or soccer. But now I love it, because I feel so good. Now talk about the EMF shield, because many of us are concerned about how much EMFs we're getting, and you have a beautiful shield option on your devices too, right?
Yeah, I do. And just one more comment about what you said real quick. When you feel whole, what you're feeling is being yourself. Like, and I think for so many of us, that's like this strange feeling. What is this feeling to be healthy? Well, it's just being yourself. When you're being yourself in like the highest and best form of yourself, there's a oneness, to it, a wholeness to it that's really everybody has this gift, this ability. We all have it within. We just need to, and I'll talk about EMFs now. We need to perhaps realize that maybe the equation of health is entirely due to disharmony in our internal and external environment. Fundamentally, it comes down to that. So EMFs, dis-ease. We need to cleanse ourselves, and that's sauna's amazing for that. And there's other things as well. And then we need to nourish ourselves with what I need. But it's on all the levels, not just physical. It's emotional and spiritual and energetic. And EMFs become a big part of it nowadays, man-made EMFs, because again, we're beings of light. Light is a frequency. It's electromagnetism. So EMF stands for electromagnetic field. So it's just a fancy acronym for frequencies of light. And so humans have made so many cool things that have brought so much power to us, so much innovation, so much comfort. Like I love having my gas oven and have, being able to communicate with you through the internet and all these amazing things. Right. However, all of this unfortunately has come at a cost. And that's because our biology is not programmed to understand or interact at this point in our evolution anyway, with what's called man-made EMF, non-native EMF. So we understand the native EMF of nature, the sun, the frequency of the earth, what's called the Schumann frequency. All plants and animals that are alive, they all have a frequency to them. The stars have a frequency. So everything is emitting light, and we are attuned to that, and we love that. And even the moon, that being in touch with the cycles of nature. But all the man-made EMFs, there's probably a billion times more man-made EMF now than there was 100 years ago. So I'm talking about initially like radio waves and television broadcast and telegrams and stuff like that. And now we get into, today everybody has electricity in their home, and we have 5G, and we have man-made EMF in our homes and all of our buildings. And then we have it all in the air too, all the wireless EMF. And all of this was actually known in the beginning, when the telegram first came out. Like people that were having weird health problems were concentrated around telegram workers and people living close to where they ran these telegram lines. And this is like very much in the beginning, and it was known. And so there's I forget the name of the book. There's an early 20th century understanding of the toxicity that man-made electric fields coming from electricity and broadcast signals have on the human body. But it's kind of been hidden or suppressed or just ignored maybe for a long time. But now there's a new awareness. Hey, there's a problem here. So electric fields, because we're beings of light, here's one like science example. We have these things called voltage gated calcium ion channels. This is a channel into our cell that lets calcium in, that's in every cell of the body. And they're voltage gates. So they're voltage gated. So they're opened and closed by electric field, a little bit of electricity. So the cell phone signal in the air unnaturally triggers these calcium gates and causes them to open and causes a lot of stress on the cell. And where can you go nowadays where you can't get cell phone signal? It's not about having a phone in your hand. If you are anywhere where you can answer a phone call, you're getting this stress on your body. So it's in some ways even worse than the blue light, because it's kind of inescapable. Anywhere you go that has any civilization now has these EMFs. So what do? They basically stress our body out. They disrupt sleep. Our highest concentration of these calcium channels are in our nervous system and in our heart. So we see associations in the research now with heart problems, brain problems, neuropsychiatric problems. And it's just this huge kind of burden that's around all the time. So I didn't know about this in the beginning, but once I became well versed in this, again, thanks to Brian Hoyer, I realized, wow, this is an issue. We need to design this out of the product. What do we do? So we, long story short, we implemented some EMF shielding design principles into our our light panels. And so we made sure that SaunaSpace is not bringing any toxic EMF to the party. And so that was kind of step one. And then we said,
wow, that's
well,
amazing.
what about, like, that's great, but like, what else can we do? So we developed a grounding mat. And at the same time as the grounding mat, we're like, well, let's just block the whole thing out. Let's make what's called a Faraday cage, a grounded Faraday cage. And so we realized that laboratory Faraday cages are made out of like big plates of metal, and they're these big, huge things. But we realized that you could use micro silver cabling and weave it into cloth, and this like netting of silver would be enough to block out the cell phone signal. So we developed, first we started with another fabric that was already available, and then we developed our own organic fabric, and that's what we call our silver lining.
Amazing. I didn't know that. That's so cool. So before we run out of time, because this goes so fast, go to sauna.space/get your shit together. And you have your direct link through us. And that way Brian knows that y'all are listening and are wanting to check it out. And please, please, please take advantage of this. It's a cool little tent. I literally have it in my office. It takes one little corner of my office. It looks really cute. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. We have 2 minutes. What else do you want our audience to know?
Wow. Well, it's we could talk about
why you over somebody else, maybe.
Yeah, our products are made with a lot of love and intention. We actually secretly laser engrave and inscribe our core values on the inside of all of the light panels. Everything's handmade here. With our lovely team that's like really diverse. We have, you know, some former refugees working for us, and just a really cool crew here. And it's all made very intentionally, and not just the product itself, the product experience. So our products basically last forever, and we have in-house customer support. If you have any issues with using it, or you have like health concerns or other things, our team's like super knowledgeable about all of that. And yeah, it's really a one-of-a-kind experience. There's not really anybody else who's utilizing our technology or our design principle per se. And you have to try it out. You know, it comes with the like 100-day trial, so you have to try it out for yourself. But it's super amazing. Like you said, it's at sauna.space. And if you want to like deep dive into some of that science stuff, you can check out our Instagram, SaunaSpace, or our YouTube. There's like lots of like deep dives into the EMFs and all that other geeky stuff.
No, I can't more highly recommend it. I use it, like I said, a few times a week. I want to do it more. I'm planning on working it in even more. But yeah, you feel amazing. I know that I'm doing what I can for myself, and it's so easy to it's so easy. There isn't a big wooden structure. I mean, the saunas that I've seen, it's a whole thing.
And it's super fast, so you don't have to preheat it. And you know, it's either a half-hour session with our standard system or our super sauna. It's like 15 minutes. So you get all these things done, you know, like really fast.
Absolutely. Well, go to sauna.space/get your shit together and enjoy your sauna. I would love to hear. Please let me know that you got one and you're using it. Go to Amy at amyjoycoaching.com. Please. I would love to hear about you and your experience with your SaunaSpace. Thank you, Brian, so much. I'm going to have you on at the end for your nugget, for your best life hack. But for right now, it's time for a meditation moment. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
I am a light in the world. I am a light. I am a light in the world. I am a light. Shine, 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 shine. I am alive. Make today glorious. Mwah! I love that mantra. It's an oldie but a goodie, but I wanted to bring it back today because we're talking about light, beings of light, and you are a light in the world. You can find that on Instagram, Mantra Magic, and here every week, Thursdays at 4:00. What I would love is to add once a month well, I want your mantras is what I want. I want you to send me some ideas for mantras so that we can create that. And when I do, if I pick yours, I want you to send a picture, your picture, if you feel up for that, and your mantra idea. And if you're chosen, I will have you on the show, put your picture up, and we'll sing your mantra. I would love that interaction with you and your ideas because together we vibrate higher. So let's do that together. Yeah. All right. So Amy at Amy Joy Coaching, your picture and your mantra idea. Now it is time for meditation moment. Grab your kids, grandkids, everybody in the house. All right. This is the part of the show where we take 5 minutes to get present. 5 minutes. So take a seat. Grab everybody. Doesn't matter how you're sitting, just sit, be comfortable. If you can sit straight, that's always helpful. But really, just being present is the most important part. So take a deep breath in. We're going to be listening to the music of Gary Malkin. He's a multi-Emmy winner composer, and he has graciously offered his music for this section of the show. Take another deep breath in. Making that ah sound helps too. I want you to notice your breath. Notice how it feels entering your nose and exhaling. Notice how your stomach and chest expand. And breathe. And now I want you to notice, how are you feeling right now? Are you feeling crappy? Are you feeling happy? Don't make it right or wrong, good or bad. Just notice. Just notice and say, interesting. And breathe. And now I want you to notice, what are the thoughts you have coming into your mind right now? Are they thoughts of the future, or are they more thoughts of the past, or are they thoughts of right here, right now? Again, don't make it right or wrong, good or bad, just notice and breathe. Now I want you to notice a flame flickering right in front of your eyes. Notice the reds, the yellows, the oranges, the whites. And breathe. Now I want you to slowly bring that flame into the center of your head and watch it flicker there. breathe. And then with your hands on your heart, I want you to think of one thing that you are so grateful for that it brings a smile to your face. And in this expanded state, I'm going to send you an energetic activation. Just know that it's sent with so much love. And all you have to do is set the intention to receive it. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. And smile. Wiggle your toes and fingers and gradually open your eyes, little by little, blinking. Come back into the room. All right. Beautiful. I'm going to bring Brian back on. There he is. There he is. How is that for you?
Wow, it was amazing. Such a simple practice. It was really awesome. Especially, it's been a long day for me and a lot of work. So it kind of changes what I was going to say, honestly.
Nice. Beautiful. So here's the question. If you're on a mountaintop and you had the whole population of the world at the foot of the mountain and they could hear you and they were paying attention and you had one thing to share, what would that be? We have 3 minutes, two minutes.
The truth is within.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we need is already within, and we know everything. It's just a matter of remembering.
Yeah.
And maybe we were born into this world not remembering much of anything. But when we seek an answer to something, it's always a good idea to gain perspective from others and learn about things, from others. But at the end of the day, the answer and the basis from which you act comes from within.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, maybe we never really learn anything. We're not taught anything at all. We only remember the knowledge that we already have baked in. So I say that because there's just a lot of focus on doing physical things to improve our health. And I was definitely in that crowd too for a long time and using my sauna and other things.
Mm-hmm.
But I slowly realized that anytime I have any kind of disharmony or anything else, or I have a question, instead of asking someone else and giving my power away and having someone else decide for me, what's best for me, I look within and the answer's there. Sometimes it takes time to get there. Sometimes it's vague. Maybe it's incomplete initially, but the truth is always there, and the truth is within. Once we start developing the muscle of looking within, seeking the truth within, we empower ourselves with our limited being and our divinity. And we remember that we always have a choice in all things, but we need to look within to understand, what's the choice that's aligned with truth and aligned with the Creator.
Oof. Yes. That.
I might say something like that.
It's a game changer. It's a game changer when you have that kind of knowing and living your life from there. Oof. So much fun. So much fun.
So much joy.
So much joy. Yeah, joy is a better word. It's glorious. It's glorious. And that's why I do this show. That's why I do all the things that I do in this 3D world is to help us remember. So I'm really grateful
Yeah.
you brought that up. And I want to put this up here. Guys, go check it out. SaunaSpace / get your shit together. You'll be so glad you have one. And if you know someone in your life with health challenges, please let them know about this. It's an easy, amazing possible solution for them and their health, including yours. So grateful to have you. Can't believe we're out of time already. Thank you, everyone. I love you for just being you, and I want to honor you for spending time. Your time is very precious, and you chose to spend it with us today, and that is epic. So together we vibrate higher, and that, my friends, changes the world. Mwah. We'll see you next week.
Bye, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Get Your Shit Together live with Amy Joy. If you'd like to follow us, you can on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Amy Joy Coaching. Appreciate so much your likes, comments, and shares. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please reach out. We'll see you next time.